Okay, good morning, Mom. So today I am going to discuss about public officers. So according to the revised penal code, public officers is any person who by direct provision of a law, popular election, or appointment by competent authority takes part in performance of public functions in government or performs in its or any of its branches public duties as an employee, agent, or subordinate official of any rank or class. So, in other words, public officers are the persons who are elected, who are being elected or appointed, who are also performs any government roles and responsibilities in government. So, for the next question, how did the Constitution set accountability to the public officers? So, well, we can answer this through the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 11, Section 1, which states that public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve people with responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, act patriotism and justice, and lead modest lives. So, this is how the Constitution set accountability to the public officers. This is really important because public officers is really the persons who are responsible, liable to the safety, security, and the health of the people. And also, they must serve people with responsibility, integrity, which is also includes the honesty and loyalty. And also, as a public officers, they must act patriotism and justice, which means that they must be devoted to their work or they must be devoted to their function in serving people. And also, as a public officers, they must lead modest lives, which means that they must lead the people of having a modest lives, or what we say, a smooth life, or something like more good in life. So, in my opinion, this on how the Constitution set accountability to the public officers is really good because the public officers are the persons who are the voice of the people to speak out or to be heard what the people felt or what the people felt about something or any government issues. So, for the next question, what does the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees mandate on public officers? So, when we say Code of Conduct and Standard and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees, there we can see and read in the article that there it prescribes the do's and don'ts of the public officials. It also prescribes the declaration of policies and everything that relates to public officials. So, according to Republic Act number 6713, it states that the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials and employees mandate or declare that public officials and employees shall at all times be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public interest over personal interest. So, this is how the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for public officials mandate to the public officers. So they want that public officials or public officers is responsible to the people, especially to the safe and security of the people. And they uphold public interest over personal interest. So this is really good because we cannot deny the fact that there are some politicians that are not true to their work. Like, for example, they are going to take for granted the money of the government. So the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standard declare a duty that public officials must uphold public interest over personal interest so that the public or the government will be in a good place and everything will be smooth. The next, how is professionalism defined? So, when we say professionalism, it is when a person is doing good or something with intelligence and he is able to do his duties and responsibilities with integrity or with justice. So, since we are talking about public officers, so we can conclude public officers as a professional when he is fueled with a strong desire to serve the community. Yes, that is very important. Next, able to follow on how Constitution set accountability to the public officers. And next, focus on public interest instead of personal interest. We all know that the common good of the people is always the top priority if we want to run as a public officer or employee. Next, what is considered as unbecoming conduct? So, when we say unbecoming conduct, it is a conduct of a public official which has a tendency to destroy public interest. Public respect. So when we say public respect, it is the respect of the people towards you as the public officer. So it is really important. It is really hard to gain the respect of the people when in the first place you already ruined it. So there are some kinds of unbecoming conduct that can be considered, like irresponsible to his rules and responsibilities. We all know that the Constitution set the accountability to the public officers, and of course the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards to the public officials states that public officers must be responsible to his roles and responsibilities to the people because they are the people who will help to the people in order to be heard. The next, corrupting money. Yes, this is not a rare situation because inside in the government, we can't deny that there are still politicians who corrupt money. This is more like about having a personal interest over public interest. Next question is, what does it mean to be politically neutral? So, when we say politically neutral or neutral, it means that we are in the middle, right? So, politically neutral means that you are independent, just in the middle, who wants to run for a position, and the goal is to serve with responsibility to the people and will render peace in the field of politics. So, for example, I am going to run as the next Vice President of the Philippines, and Anna, my friend, wants to run as a President of the Philippines. Then Anna asked me or invite me to be in her lineup as her Vice President. But then I declined because I am independent, or what we call politically neutral, or I am just in the middle who wants to run for a position with a goal. So that is what we call politically neutral. Like someone has no political parties or lineup joined. Next, what is the importance of being politically neutral in the case of a public officer? Yes, there are lots of importance of being politically neutral as a public officer. So the importance is that you are unbiased and you cannot hear so much hurtful words from anyone, and you can't blame your lineup or any person if you'll not win. So look, when you have this, if you are not a politically neutral and you have this a lineup or a group of people in the political, in politics, you can think that is my line up voted for me or what, then it will turn into, you will be confused, something like that. So it is very important that you are politically neutral when you enter public officer, when you enter politics, because it is really hard when you are not, when you are there's something, you have a bias. The next, what are considered partisan acts? So partisan acts is any act designed to promote the election or defeat of a particular candidate to a public officer. So there are some acts that can be considered as partisan acts: forming organizations, associations, or other groups of persons for the purpose of soliciting votes. Yes, there are some politicians that wants to they form associations or group of people in order to gain votes during elections. The next, holding political caucuses, conferences, meetings. Yes, this is not a rare situation because this happened in our barangay. Some politicians hold caucuses and meetings for them to be recognized by the people during elections and to gain vote. Then next, make speeches, announcements, or commentaries and holding interviews. Yes, this is also existing because some politicians make speeches in order that for them to share what are their platforms and their plans about going to politics. And we have a partisan acts in order to enhance or to gain votes from the people. So therefore, as what I have learned in everything what I have discussed is about being public officer is not that easy. So we have to be responsible when we want to enter in that field so that we can gain the trust of the people and the respect of the people, because it is really hard. So as what I also realized that there are some people or politicians that are independent. So we must understand them, and I also realized that partisan acts really exist because in our country there are lots of making speeches, holding political caucuses, forming organizations or associations. So okay, that's all. Thank you.